the Eurasian steppe, not a wasteland, but a vibrant ocean of grass, stretching from the borders of China to the fringes of Europe. This vast expanse was more than geography. It was a way of life, a demanding, mobile existence that bred the toughest warriors and most adaptable societies in history. For centuries, great empires rose and fell here. The Xiongnu, the Wuhuan, the Xinbei. They set the stage, demonstrating how a unified, nomadic force could shake the foundations of settled civilization, particularly the powerful dynasties of China. But our story focuses on a group known as the Ashina clan. The Ashina lived as subjects under the thumb of the Rouran Khaganate, the dominant power in the 5th and early 6th centuries. The Rouran treated the Ashina as little more than slaves, forcing them to supply iron and arms. But oppression often fuels ambition. Around 550 AD, the Rouran Khaganate was internally fractured and facing pressure from the Chinese state of Western Wei. The Ashina leader, a man named Bumin, saw his moment. He demanded a Rouran princess in marriage, an act of symbolic equality. The Rouran Khagan contemptuously refused, labeling Bumin his ironsmith slave. This insult ignited the flames of revolt. Bumin Khagan swiftly allied with the Western Wei, launched a massive campaign against the Rouran, and in 552 AD, he completely crushed the Khaganate. On the slopes of the sacred Otukan mountain, Bumin declared himself Khagan, the supreme ruler. He established the first Turkic Khaganate, giving the world the name that would define them. Turk. The Turks had arrived. In less than a decade, they had replaced their masters and inherited the largest nomadic empire the world had yet seen. Bumin's successor, Muhan Khagan, expanded the empire into a behemoth, but managing the vast territories, stretching nearly 6,000 miles, from the Manchurian plains to the Caspian Sea, proved impossible for a single command structure. By 581 AD, internal dynamics and familial power struggles led to the formal split of the realm into two distinct, yet culturally connected, entities. The Eastern Turkic Khaganate, Tujua, centered in the historical homeland of Mongolia. Around the sacred Otukan mountain, they maintained closer proximity and therefore constant, complex relations with the mighty Chinese dynasties, Sui and Tang. The Western Turkic Khaganate, stretching westward across Central Asia. Their domains covered the vital artery of global commerce, the Silk Road. The Western Turks became indispensable players in international politics. They were the intermediaries, controlling the routes, setting the tolls, and offering protection or demanding tribute. From merchants traveling between East and West, it was the Western Khaganate's alliance with the Byzantine Emperor Heraclius that helped finally break the Sasanian Empire of Persia in the early 7th century, fundamentally reshaping the political landscape of the Middle East just as the Islamic caliphates began their rise. The Turks were not just steppe nomads. They were a global superpower. Beyond the campaigns and diplomacy, what were the beliefs that bound this vast empire together? The Turkic people adhered to Tengrism, a religion centered on the worship of the eternal blue sky, Tungri. Tungri was seen as the supreme celestial being, the source of all authority. The Khagan, therefore, was not merely a military leader but the Tungri chosen one, ruling by divine mandate. This belief system provided a crucial pillar of legitimacy, uniting disparate tribes under a single figure. Below Tungri were the spirits of the earth, ancestors, and nature, often worshipped in sacred places like mountains and rivers. The religious landscape, however, was also highly tolerant. Along the Silk Road, Turkic cities and camps welcomed Buddhists, Manichaeans, and Christians, demonstrating a pragmatic openness to external faiths. Turkic society was governed by the Torah, pronounced Torah, an unwritten code of law and customs. It emphasized discipline, justice, loyalty, and above all, the importance of the state. The social unit was the family and clan, but women in the Khaganate often enjoyed a status rarely seen in settled societies. The Khagan's wife, the Khatun, held significant political influence, often acting as regent or receiving foreign ambassadors in her own right. The greatest threat to the Khaganate was not another nomadic tribe, but the vast, structured power of imperial China. The Tang dynasty, 618 to 907 AD, adopted a multi-pronged strategy to dismantle the Eastern Turkic Khaganate. Military force, repeated, powerful military campaigns led by elite Chinese generals. Divide and conquer, sowing dissension among the Turkic tribes, supporting those who were willing to betray the Khagan. Economic warfare, restricting the flow of vital Chinese silk, which was used by the Turks as currency to maintain the loyalty of their subject tribes. Internal weakness did the rest. After a period of famine and poor leadership, the Eastern Turkic Khaganate finally collapsed in 630 AD. The Chinese Tang Emperor Taizong celebrated his victory by bringing the defeated Khagan to his capital, Chang'an, and symbolically claiming the title of Heavenly Khagan over the steppe peoples. For the next half-century, the Turks lived under Tang domination. They became subjects, serving as elite cavalry in the Tang army. For the proud nomads, this was a period of deep national humiliation, but it also preserved their military skill and identity. The Western Turkic Khaganate suffered a similar fate, fractured by internal wars and eventually falling to the combined forces of Tang China and its allies by the 650s. The great empire of the Turks was seemingly erased from the map, but the Turks were not a people easily assimilated. The memory of their former glory, codified in the Torah, fueled a fierce desire for independence. In 682 AD, a noble named Kutlug, later known as Ilturish Khagan, rallied the disaffected tribes. He broke away from Tang control and established a new, revived empire, the Second Turkic Khaganate. This resurgence was a powerful testament to the persistence of Turkic identity. The golden age of the Second Khaganate occurred under Bilge Khagan, r. 716 to 734 AD, and his brother, the brilliant general Kultijan. They fought the Tang to a stalemate, regaining their independence and reaffirming their mastery of the steppe. Their greatest legacy, however, is not found in battlefields, but on stone monuments, the Orkhon inscriptions. These words served as a chilling warning and a constitutional document, urging future generations to follow the Torah, remain loyal to the Khagan, and preserve their nomadic heritage. The Second Turkic Khaganate was dominant for about 60 years, but the same cycle of internal strife and external pressure repeated itself. By 744 AD, the Khaganate was decisively overthrown, not by China, but by another Turkic group, the Uyghurs, who established their own powerful Khaganate. This marked the end of the original Ashina-led Turkic Khaganate, but it was not the end of the Turkic people. The fall of the Khaganate led to a massive diffusion of Turkic groups across Eurasia. Some remained and became the Uyghurs. Many migrated westward, eventually becoming the ancestors of the Oghuz tribes, who would found the Seljuk and later the Ottoman empires in the Middle East and Anatolia. Others migrated north, evolving into the various Turkic groups of Siberia and Eastern Europe. From the iron-working slaves of the Altai Mountains to the masters of the Silk Road, the Turkic Khaganate left an indelible mark. They forged a powerful identity, established the first written Turkic language, and set in motion the great migrations that would shape the ethno-linguistic map of a continent. Their memory lives on in the Orkhon stones, a timeless tribute to the lords of the steppe. Their empire may have vanished, but the legacy of the Turk remains eternal.